So it was right around June 2004 that I began working on the songs for my first record, Not Unclean. And gosh, what was on Not Unclean? Oh my gosh, it feels like 100 years ago. Let's see if I can do it in order. Lord, new song, Jesus Eyes, There's Hope, Shouldn't Hurt Like This, in no particular order, Heal These People, Desire, Human Love, Were You There, and oh dear, what was that? There's one more song on that record. Well, it was a really good song, I'm sure. And then, gosh, before the end of the year, no, that was August, September, October, gosh, 6 months later, I was working on Itch. I could try to say the names of the songs now. Then there was Does God Sleep? Then there was Real Man, Zombies, and When Love Dies, and Leading Horses. Gosh, Leading Horses, Burn in Hell, and Love Me Forever. And oh, but somewhere in there was Displace, which was the 3-song dealio. Oh man, what an amazing experience doing these records. I don't necessarily have the best time recording. I guess a lot of artists probably have a very stressful time in the studio, but I try really hard to Reaching for the Heaven. That was the one song on Not Unclean I couldn't remember. There we go. That's funny because I'm actually putting that on my next record. I'm working on Monsters right now, and then there's OK Sex, and then there's Hey Lucifer in the works. I'm kind of recording 3 at one time, it feels like. I work in 3s. I have all along. I kind of get a concept and kind of stick with the concept for a couple records until I feel like I've done the concept to death, and I try to do something experimental in the studio on every record. I did that with Shouldn't Hurt Like This. I did write it in the studio, but I wrote it for the project and just took what I got, and that's what I recorded. And it's probably the most interesting song on Not Unclean. And I started out doing, you know, maybe 2 or 3 concerts a month, and now I'm up to about 300 performances a year. And I love all of it. I love the records. I don't drive around listening to them. I know people think we do that, but I really don't do that. Periodically I listen to something. But for me, the ministry was always going to be about reaching people for the Lord and comforting and encouraging the saints. I never expected to come out of my ministry, and I never expected to aggressively attack the church for how it's treated the queers and the fringe communities. And that's fringe and not French. I don't know how many times people have said that. You're gonna have to move too. Move forward, move forward.
We have to get off the thing.
Okay. If this weren't running, I have something very funny to say. You're gonna have to back up, as I think it's gonna make my nose. One more step. One more step. All right. Me and Barbara, we direct our own movies. Where was I? I never expected to be coming out of my ministry, and I never expected to be attacking the Christians for how they treat the queers and the French communities, and I never expected to attack the queers for reciprocating this same behavior towards the Christians. But it seems like I was born at a very special time to do everything I can do to bridge that gap. But in order to bridge it, kind of have to tear down the walls on both sides, or there's no point in putting a bridge, is there? So with Not Unclean, I tried very hard to conform without feeling like I sold out, and to me that was like my Bowie record. Like if David Bowie had recorded a gospel record in the 70s, that's what it would have sounded like, and I'm very happy with it. Learned a lot, that's for sure. And when it came time to do Itch for me was like my punk rock Frank Zappa record. That's definitely had the most digital downloads of any of my records, and it was my most ill-received amongst my friends, but it really showed me that I could have a voice in music if I were willing to step outside of the box a little bit and start tackling issues that I really cared about. And Does God Sleep, I just hit it head on. It was just 10 songs about stuff that nobody wants to talk about. Really hard childhoods, child sexual abuse, really not fitting in this world, the death of a child. Yeah, it was a real happy record, but I was really proud of it. And it was right around that time that my persona really came into bloom, and I started really playing with my image, and that was the time of the mohawk. And shortly after I finished that and I started recording Real Man, I knew that Real Man was going to give me a street credibility that nothing else had, because Real Man had a couple songs on it that I thought had radio, or at least college radio or internet radio potential, and it was Stop Smoking that got a lot of airplay, and Take a Bow both got a lot of airplay that year, and that's when I realized that God had really established me and given me a career that, as long as I was willing to play for free somewhere every night, I could play for the rest of my life. And that's what I always wanted, and that's what I got. And Zombies was my head-on attack against the stale church. It pretty much sealed my fate of churches really ever asking me to play again, and that wasn't my intent, but I'm not angry about that. I'm glad that I get to just concentrate on the people that would love to be included in Christianity that have been blocked out by the establishment and by the Zombies, of course. And When Love Dies was a very personal record for me. It's a very sad record, and I recorded it long before it came out. And it was interesting because when it came out, I was much sadder than I was when I recorded it. And performing those songs night after night after night was pretty rough. It was pretty bleak. But it has The Night Comes, which my former brother-in-law wrote, which I think is a masterpiece, and it has Freddie's Dead, which is essentially one of my all-time favorite songs I've written, and one of the most important songs for me to do. And I'm also including that again, a new version of that on OK Sex, because I want to keep that song alive, even though I couldn't keep Freddie alive. And when I moved into leading horses, I really wanted to expand what I was doing artistically, and I really entered into just working with noises and silence, and really working on my vocals, and I really feel like I hit my stride with Leading Horses and Burn in Hell, and it's really exciting now as I venture into the new trilogy, to see how much my ministry has changed, see how much my audience has changed, and see how much my voice in society has changed. I feel like it's been 100 years since Not Unclean.